Part 12. Is Pythagoras a philosopher? Let's shift our gaze northwest from the city of Miletus, about 50 kilometers by sea. On the eastern side of the Aegean Sea lies a sun-drenched little island called Samos. This place is famous for its grapes, and the wine they produce is known far and wide. The main business for the island's residents is being happy winemakers. It was around 580 BCE that a little boy was born on this island, and his name was Pythagoras. This kid, just like his predecessor Thales, was a restless soul. In his youth, he traveled all over the world, going to Egypt and Babylon to study their math and geometry. At that time, the Egyptians only knew how to use clumsy measuring methods. While they knew the Pythagorean theorem worked for the pyramids, they couldn't explain why. Pythagoras felt that there must be a deeper mystery hidden within it. This guy had a sharp mind and understood human nature. He wanted to take on disciples, but he was afraid they wouldn't be interested. So he found a smart kid and said, "Kid, if you learn geometry from me, I'll give you 3 small silver coins every day." The child couldn't believe his luck. He happily trotted along to class every day. But after a while, he found himself truly hooked on geometry. Pythagoras saw his chance and told the kid, "I'm out of money, so our lessons are over." The child was distraught and immediately said, "Teacher, I'll pay you. Just keep teaching me." Just like that, Pythagoras not only got his money back, but also gained a truly dedicated disciple. It was practically a live experiment in behavioral economics. As word of this spread, Pythagoras' reputation grew. He decided to form a secret society where they could all study math and geometry together. The group had some weird rules, like you couldn't eat bread by breaking it into pieces, but you also couldn't eat an entire loaf in one go. If something dropped on the floor, you had to leave it there and not pick it up. The most outrageous rule was that they weren't allowed to eat beans. Later generations have speculated that beans might have been off-limits because of their gassy nature, which could have disrupted the atmosphere of deep thought and contemplation. To join the society, you had to pass an exam. Only those whom Pythagoras deemed smart enough were allowed in. Smart enough meant that you could understand his lectures, participate in discussions, and offer valuable insights. At its peak, the society had about 600 members. Pythagoras also mandated that there would be no private property among the members. All belongings had to be handed over and managed by the group. However, members did have the right to leave. If a member chose to leave, they would receive a refund of double the property they contributed upon joining. Perhaps this is what the democratic centralism we now know so well was meant to look like. After establishing all these rules and regulations, Pythagoras believed that his members would be able to fully immerse themselves in the study of math and geometry. He also coined a new word, philosopher. He said that philosophers are the most excellent people, and their purpose in life is not to gain wealth, honor, or status, but simply to observe, discover, and study the mysteries of nature. When he once attended the Olympic Games and saw guests introducing themselves, Pythagoras simply said, "I am a philosopher." Pythagoras spent his days grappling with numbers. He discovered that the number 6 was particularly interesting. The factors of 6 are 1, 2, and 3. And when you add them up, you get 6. He called numbers like this perfect numbers. Later, he found that 28 was also a perfect number. What was even more mind-boggling was that the factors of 6, when multiplied, also equaled 6. 1 times 2 times 3 equals 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. This was so uncanny that later Christians even attributed it to divine grace, saying that because God created the world in 6 days, the number 6 was super perfect. But Pythagoras' epic achievement was proving what we know as the Pythagorean theorem. While our own ancestors in the Shang dynasty already knew the special case of 3 for the leg, 4 for the thigh, 5 for the hypotenuse, Pythagoras used his deductive reasoning to extend this relationship to all right-angled triangles. He taught us that for any right-angled triangle, the sum of the squares of the two legs is always equal to the square of the hypotenuse. He used a rigorous logical proof, proving that you didn't have to measure every single triangle. The formula would be right forever and ever. That's the magic of mathematics. It gives you an absolute, universally true conclusion. Pythagoras and his school formally separated philosophy from science and transformed math from a simple measuring technique into an abstract science that could reveal the mysteries of the universe. They believed that the ultimate truth of the world was hidden behind numbers, and their job was to find it. As for the rules about not eating beans, well, we'll just have to chalk that up to a philosopher's eccentricities.